going on, everybody? Adachi here, and today, well, the CZN devs have dropped a lot of stuff. So we have the Yuki introduction video, we have the Yuki combat video, we've got the Season 1 preview video, and we have a dev note to go over as well. We're not really going to look into the Yuki stuff. We'll wait until she comes out and I have her in my hands and we can actually play with her and go over her. But everything else, we'll try and encompass this as quickly as we can. So Season 1 is going to be a 9-week season with 3 updates, each one taking up 3 weeks, so 3, 6, 9. Each is going to come with a new character, going to come with new story, and in the season we're also going to have a new permanent chaos mode. And in this chaos mode is where we're going to be able to obtain seasonal save data. This is going to be different than the regular save data we've accumulated so far. So as you can see here, season save data can be obtained from the Galactic Disaster Chaos, and it is the only save data that is going to be able to be usable in the Season 1 content. So this is going to be all of the specific things that it's going to bring along. This isn't going to affect Basin or whatever else that we already normally do. And then the seasonal data will not be deleted, as well as our regular off-season data. None of that will be deleted. We will be keeping all of it, but this is just going to be a little bit more of a fresh take on doing some new saves, and so that way you kind of have a nice blank slate going into a new season. And all of the seasonal story and the chaos will be permanent. So once it all ends, it will be added into the permanent stuff. Now, as far as like the seasonal game modes that we'll go over in a bit, I don't think that those will be added into permanent content, but at least the story and the chaos, I would say probably the meat of the content will still be available. And here we can see they finally revealed, we already knew Chizuru was a combatant, but they've also revealed that Serenial here, the third character in that original Season 1 key art, is also going to be a combatant. At least, hopefully this isn't a mistranslation, but yeah, seems like they're both going to be characters, so very cool there. And yes, Yuki is going to be a 5-star Order Striker, which is the green strikers, and they go over her a little bit, as well as showing off her deck that you can see here. And they even talk about a little bit of her epiphanies, but ideally she's going to want somebody or other characters that are going to help her draw cards, and she's going to draw some cards herself. So very cool, definitely looking forward to seeing her kit in action. As well as the featured partner banner, which is going to be Westmacott, and she's going to be pretty much just specifically tailored for Yuki. Of course, universally this can work for other characters as well, but attack cards of the assigned combatant drawn by their ability have their damage increased by 50% for 1 turn. So the way this is worded is that it looks like they have to be, it says drawn by their ability, so it makes it seem like they have to be drawn by, we'll use Yuki as an example, by Yuki's own cards, whereas she has this new mechanic, Inspiration, which reduces cost of your cards if they are drawn by an ability, and this can be any character's ability, so I'm wondering if this is going to be specifically tied to Yuki, or if you're still going to be able to carry over and get a draw off of somebody else, but I guess we'll see when that happens. But then otherwise, damage up on cards by 20% with that have inspiration in them. So yeah, all for Yuki. And the ego skill, move 1 card from a hand to draw pile. And it also seems like you draw a card, which is weird that it doesn't say that in the effect here. For some reason in this section it doesn't show it, but if I can find right here, and then it says draw 1 assigned combatant cards. Okay, interesting that there's different wording there, but yeah, that's what it does. Moves 1 of your cards into the draw pile and then draw 1 of the assigned combatant's cards. So again, perfect for Yuki. Here they talk about the new chaos. We can see here that it is going to be dark element, and you can see here some of the scenery and visuals. Of course, this is going to be tied in with the new season's story as well, and this is going to come with some new cards, new gear, new fights, new everything. Hopefully new everything at least. And one thing that I wanted to go over specifically here is the addition of these, which are these forbidden cards. And you can see that they're forbidden, denoted not only by the name, but that they have these chains on them. They all have this same gray coloring as well. So it'll be interesting to see how these get implemented, how these are really going to affect save data, because already we have an idea that neutral cards in general kind of impact save data pretty heavily. So wondering if this is going to change at all, how rare these are going to be, etc., etc. But cool, these new forbidden cards, and then of course just regular neutrals being added as well. And you can see here, all of this new stuff will not be limited to the season, as this will all be added into the Chaos pool. Then away from the Chaos, we have our first new season specific mode, which is going to be Nebula Distortion. This is going to be a mode where we're going to have 3 bosses, 2 which will be unlocked later on in 2-week intervals, but they're going to be bosses where we're going to add on these additional higher difficulty modifiers, and then we will get more rewards in turn for making the fights harder and harder. And you can see we also have different difficulty levels as well. First, starting off with the crab. These are all going to be bosses we've already fought. And then you can see the big thick arm boy, and then the interior boss, I think of, what is it, City of Mist? And then it shows first half of the Great Rift. You can see here, this is going to be a game mode where we are going to challenge at different levels. We're going to be taking in 2 teams. And this is essentially just going to be kind of a DPS check. There's probably going to be some kind of a boost of some kind of like doing something specific. Like maybe it's like when you draw a card, you'll do more damage, right? To kind of play into Yuki's aesthetic. But yeah, you're going to want to beat him down as hard as you can to score as high as you possibly can. And a cool thing that they're adding with this, as well as incentivizing whales a bit here, but there's going to be a leaderboard system where it looks like hopefully we're going to be able to look at people's different builds and their teams and whatnot. Actually, this isn't even the leaderboard. Let me find the right screenshot here. Here we go. So you can see the leaderboard, and it looks like you can actually see details of accounts now. So maybe there's actually a little more value in customizing your account. But yeah, it looks like there's a little magnifying glass, so that way you can see the teams. Hopefully you can see the save data, the gear, the memory fragments, everything. So that way, if you're struggling with this or you want just a better idea on the fly of what you can run, then yeah, hopefully these will be a good choice for that. Yeah, overall, I'm not a big fan of those point modes, but yeah, it's additional content at least. But here we see that we're going to be earning this event currency. I don't think we're going to do this through event stages. I think you're just going to earn this currency through like completing missions, and most likely just by doing content in general, maybe more specifically the seasonal content. But yeah, we're going to have an event currency with an event shop, and it looks like unless this changes when it actually drops, we're going to get 5 pulls of each banner. That is animated cards, limited and standard. We're going to get one of the potential materials, as well as some of the weekly potential materials, which is interesting to see there. Cool that we're going to get that outside of just doing the weekly boss, and then one of the main stat selector gear crafting items. And then last, which we've already seen, or they've already mentioned it before, that we're going to get one of these every new season, but the universal dupe. So yeah, definitely look forward to that. You can finally start duping out or getting into higher dupes of your favorite characters. And then we have a bunch of login events. This is the one that's going to be coming on the 12th when the update drops, which is going to be 5 pulls of each. And then after that, it looks like we're going to have a login reward of 800 gems, and then 10 animated card pulls, as well as this event that is going to be tied to Arc City, and this is most likely going to be doing 40 policies. And we'll talk a little more about them mentioning this later in the dev note itself, but they are improving the level up rewards that you get every time you level up, and then there's that little reward track to go claim. So they're adding in a bunch of materials there, and this is going to be retroactive, so we should, when this update drops, get a bunch of stuff if you've already claimed all of those level up rewards. And then last is they mentioned some special gift for the drop of the video, and if you already logged in today, it should have been like the 300 gems and 200,000 units, which is definitely welcome. Definitely need more gold. But now we're on to the dev note, which they also dropped right around the same time. I think they dropped this last night. Yes, this is mostly going to be addressing some concerns that the community has had. I think very topical things, and it seems to be trending in a pretty good direction. First, starting with what was already mentioned in the video, which is improving those level up reward tracks, but it also states here that event and content rewards will be improved. I'm hoping that content means permanent content, so that means we will be getting more materials and whatnot out of just clearing stages in general. It also says early game and daily rewards will also be increased, so very cool. But it says through a comprehensive adjustment to achievement log rewards, more promotion and potential materials will be provided. I'm hoping that this is more than just them adding in the additional rewards into the level up track. It'd be nice to see this permanently carry over. And then here, I don't know if this is something that is going to be new, but it says we are preparing an update that will expand the Chaos Shop and increase the maximum level of the Chaos Matrix to 100. There's too many different names for different things, so I don't even remember what the Chaos Matrix is. But yeah, more rewards, very cool. Next up, details about improvements to the save data guide. So with this coming update, made storable save data easier to identify and added additional help information to make the system more intuitive and easier to understand. The way this reads, it looks like that they're going to be dropping in more tutorials, which is, I guess, fine to help explain a little bit. But hopefully they also add in like additional visual indicators that state like maybe why things are getting removed or why things are getting added, because being able to at least know those things is going to make it a lot easier for us to pinpoint down the data we actually want and make it less of a bit of a random scramble and pray to RNGesus. But they do say more detailed explanations in the upcoming patch notes, so we'll look forward to those. And then a great change for those of us farming Zero system right now, the cost of codex merging will also be reduced. So this is the reroll feature in the Zero system. You pay a certain amount of units and you can either fill up a chaos in one of the 3 slots, or you can reroll one of the slots into, a different planet, different modifiers. But they say with the upcoming update that the unit cost will be reduced by 20% for doing this. And to minimize inconvenience, we will be receiving units as daily mail rewards for 2 weeks come the update. So 2 weeks of free gold. Awesome. In addition, 1 free merge per day. Very, very cool and awesome to see, because right now the meta is kind of to save as much gold as possible. What you do is you merge at the lowest difficulty possible, which will be difficulty 5, and then you just farm your way back up like that, because it is cheaper than trying to just create a difficulty 10 chaos all the time. But with the reduction in cost, the gold being gained, especially with the 1 free merge per day, ooh, that is awesome. And here they state the UI of memory fragment system is going to be improved. The biggest improvements is obviously the one that we can actually visually see right now. We'll see when it actually goes live, but they're adding in a little number into the picture so you can see which slot they're actually going to take out, which I think is personally very useful for people who aren't just no life in the game. That way when you see drops, you'll be like, okay, so this is for this slot. I know, what stats it can roll, so I can immediately be like, okay, I know this is good or this is bad. And just in general makes it a lot easier to read visually. And then kind of last is changing the affinity system, and it's all great changes here. Affinity requirements for the growth guide missions will be significantly reduced in this update. Chance of obtaining gift items during excursions, so when you go hang out with your combatants, will be doubled. There is a chance to get a gift, so now that chance will be doubled. And additional gift products will be added into the Traveler's Memory Hall shop. I think that this shop is the yellow pull currency. And then here, if you haven't seen it, because it's damn near impossible to ever see it for a long time, but all the characters will have a sticker unlock, I think at affinity level 25, something like that. But they're dropping the sticker requirement down to level 7. Very cool. It makes a lot more sense to see the sticker before you would see the live 2D background thing for the characters that have that. And then they say that they're going to be preparing a messenger system, enjoy combatant special stories, along with a commemorative in-game event. So I'm assuming that this will probably be like what a lot of other gachas have, the whole texting system between you and your pulled characters. And then commemorative in-game event. I mean, if I had to guess, I'm going to say that this is probably something like an affinity story, and maybe a little more memorable than the current excursion stories that we have right now, which are a few lines of dialogue and basically throwaway. I just skip them. And then working on a preferred gift system. So right now, the way gifts work, you have bad gift, good gifts, and that's about it. So in this one, it looks like we're going to be probably getting different gifts, and then characters will all each have their own gifts that they like the most to get the most points, yada yada blah blah. Things we've seen in other gachas, but cool to see either way. Oh yes, and it looks like they might be improving the reward track for getting your affinity level up as well. Cool to see. I don't remember if I went over it already. I feel like maybe it was in the video. Let me see. There's something about changing the policy system. Okay, I think I skipped over it. So the policy system will be improved, not removed. Rather than selecting options based solely on a numerical comparison. So instead of just picking based on this gives me happiness, this gives me, I don't know, economical boost, whatever it was. We will now encounter new policies that offer things such as crystals, promotion materials, potential materials, and research notes. So I think this will make the potential system a little more interesting, and rather than just getting your numbers up. Because currently the way it is working, I'm pretty much just S-ranking them all pretty easily. I think I still had 30 days plus left on my policy countdown. But I was already sitting on S-rank, so it didn't really matter. I was just picking points at that point. So it looks like they're now going to offer a little more actual choice. So you're going to be picking between different rewards, what you need more, and what you think is best to grab instead. So that's cool to see. And then last, they say they're adding new features such as the quick formation system and turn indicator within battles. They don't say what these are, but if I had to guess, turn indicator is just telling you what turn you're on in a battle, which is a weird one for them to add, because I think you can already see that when you go into the escape menu. You can see what turn you're on, and then quick formation system is cool and should have really just been there from the get-go. Right now you have to click on each individual slot and then put a character in that slot, whereas quick formation most likely would be click the button and then click 1, 2, 3, and those are your 3 slots. And then they are developing a new permanent content mode called Purification Protocol, and it looks like that this will use normal or seasonal save data. So it is going to be save data content, not necessarily roguelike content. We'll see what that ends up being, but they didn't share any other further details. They just said that this will be revealed through the Galactic News Network once we are ready to share more information, which I think was that little newsletter article event thing we've got going on. And then finally, to wrap it all up, they just mentioned regular spiel, ongoing issues and bugs, refine translation quality and in-game localization. Oh, I guess they call everything news-related Galactic News Network. So looks like here, yeah, I guess that could be through YouTube or something else. So I guess we'll see when we see it for that new mode. But otherwise, yeah, expect 300 crystal reward and the new season update in just about, usually they're based off of Korean time, so about 3 to 4 days. All in all, I think with the videos and the dev note especially, I think all of the stuff that we've seen today is really great. And I think it's been pretty topical as far as addressing current concerns, especially when it comes to save data clarity, because I know that's been like talked about pretty much every minute in the Discord. But yeah, I think the video is already long enough without actually going over all of Yuki's stuff. But yeah, look forward to season 1. I know I definitely am. So yeah, thank you for watching. Take care and catch you in the next one.